everyone, it's Mina Marzano at Medicare Insiders. Today's video is going to be about Tricare for Life and how that could potentially coordinate with Medicare Advantage. So stay tuned for more. Every now and then you might come across someone who has Tricare for Life. They probably have it coupled with Original Medicare, and they might be curious about Medicare Advantage and seeing if they could get on a Medicare Advantage plan and get some of those additional benefits that maybe are not built into Tricare for Life coverage. Medicare Advantage does have a rich amount of benefits on their plans, as we see increasingly each year that goes by. We're seeing new things added on. Some of these things are not built into Tricare for Life. So anyone might be curious about what it would look like to get on Medicare Advantage. And they absolutely can get on a Medicare Advantage plan if they choose. However, you always want to make sure that you're very upfront about some of the things that need to be considered when making that decision. So some of the things that need to be considered, that's what we're going over in this video. The very first thing is going to be a difference in billing. So typically Tricare for Life works kind of as a supplement. It'll be secondary. It'll be the secondary payer to whatever that primary payer is. So if you have Original Medicare, Tricare for Life will coordinate with Original Medicare to where your provider will bill Original Medicare, and whatever Original Medicare does not pick up, Tricare for Life will pick up as long as Medicare covered their portion of it. With a Medicare Advantage plan, that's going to change a little bit. So it does depend on the state where you live. Some states are a little bit more accommodating than other states, but the provider does not have to bill Tricare for Life for you. So sometimes you could be in a situation, or your client could be in a situation where they will have, if they have Medicare Advantage as primary, because they can't choose which one's primary, right? They can't assign Tricare for Life as their primary payer. It has to be the secondary payer. So if they have a Medicare Advantage plan and they have a copay on their Medicare Advantage plan, they may be asked to pay that copay up front, and then they might be responsible to bill Tricare for Life themselves to get their reimbursement. So all of that to say, providers are not obligated to file that claim on the behalf of their patient. So if you're working with someone that has Tricare for Life, this is definitely something that you want to mention. They may run into a situation where they have to cover copays up front and request that reimbursement, and they will have to do some of that work, or might have to do some of that work if their provider won't bill Tricare for Life on their behalf. Some providers will. Some won't. So if they won't, then they need to be prepared to go online, pull the forms, and send up those claims on their own. So definitely something to consider. It's a lot more seamless when they're on Original Medicare and Tricare for Life. The network is probably the second thing that I would mention. So Original Medicare, Tricare for Life works very much like a supplement, where they can see any provider that accepts Medicare. So it doesn't matter where they are. There's no service area or specific network that they have to stay within. Any provider that accepts Medicare, they're good to go. If they're changing to a Medicare Advantage plan with Tricare for Life, they're going to be subject to the network on that Medicare Advantage plan. So it's going to work the same way that it would if they only had the Medicare Advantage plan. They're going to be subject to that network of providers. So that's another thing to keep in mind. If it is someone who travels frequently, who wants that room to be able to see any provider that they so choose, that's definitely another thing to take into consideration. And then the last thing to take into consideration is the Part D coverage. So prescription drugs. Tricare for Life does have coverage for prescription drugs, and there is no coverage gap associated if they have Original Medicare. Now, if they're on an MAPD, then they might be subject to the coverage gap, the Part D coverage gap, if that's part of the design of the MAPD plan that they're on. So those are some things that you definitely want to verbalize. You want to communicate to your client if they want to make that decision. If they're okay with those things that I've mentioned, then you definitely can go ahead and put them on a Medicare Advantage plan, but you definitely don't want to move someone away from their Tricare for Life if they are not 100% understanding of what's going to change when that takes place. So those are some of the main things that I wanted to share with you guys. If you have any additional information that you want to share with us, any additional questions regarding this topic, please leave them below in the comments. Otherwise, like, share, subscribe, go to our Facebook group, Medicare Insiders, if you want to become an insider, and I'll see you guys next time.